Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Round 5 of the Tarmac Truck Series starts right now on Countdown to Green. Last race at Bristol was caution-filled and tippers flared to the max. Nick Galusha dominated more than half the race, but didn't have the truck at the end. He comes home third. The big winner was Trevor Catalano, that picked up his first career Miller Time Motorsports League win, moving himself into the second position in points. Kyle Wellman finished his season high second at Bristol and looks to continue that dominance and that momentum at Michigan International Speedway. Hello and welcome into the Tarmac Esports Studio 8. Hope you all had a great Thanksgiving holiday, but now it's time to get back to business here at Michigan. I've got alongside me Patrick Day and Chris Miller. How are you guys doing today? And Chris was not the one that wasn't muted. Congratulations, Chris.
Yeah, I don't want to speak while the preview's rolling, right? So, oh, that's funny. Yeah, no, I had a great break. Was able to go down to Virginia and visit some, spend some time with family, so that's nice. Time to get back to racing tonight and tackle this semi-super speedway here at Michigan.
Yeah, definitely. I hope you guys had a good Thanksgiving. I know I did. I didn't do a whole lot, but hey, the rest was much needed. We had a week off there, especially after Bristol, and like you mentioned, caution-filled. We definitely needed a week off here to regroup. So hopefully we hit a couple bigger tracks here coming up, so hopefully we can even us out and not have so many cautions.
Yeah, didn't do a whole lot during the Thanksgiving holiday, other than, pig out and eat, and maybe eat some leftovers from the Thanksgiving holiday. Well, what's your favorite dish during Thanksgiving?
Oh, I'm a stuffing type of guy, so stuffing in the turkey, it's always got to be that.
Okay, Chris?
I gotta go here. Mine's to eat the Buckeyes.
Oh, jeez. I knew where that one was going. Yeah, where the Michigan Wolverines beat up on the Ohio State Buckeyes. I got it. I understand. I'm a Buckeyes, and Chris is the Michigan fan over there, so that wasn't too good for us over the weekend. Me, I really like turkey. Like, turkey is like my go-to, and my dad, he always puts it on the smoker and smokes it for 7-8 hours, and then you get that thing out. It's got that smoke taste. Oh, it was good, and yeah, I'm thinking about it right now. Like, I'd like to have some more of that. Unfortunately, we ate it all. So, but yeah, I'm glad you guys had a great Thanksgiving. That was good. Next holiday coming up, we've got Christmas rolling right around. It'll be here before we even know it. But it is back to business, and what happened and what did we see happen at Bristol? And I said it. It was caution field, and it was caution field with 80 laps under caution of 200 laps. So we only seen 120 laps of actual green flag racing around Bristol. I'm a little shocked about that. I figured we would see cautions, but I didn't think that much. What did you think?
Yeah, man, I hate it. I hate that because I have to treat every lap like we're going to run a really long green flag run. So I actually start my runs out, just okay, I'm going to take care of tires. But yeah, I knew it was going to be caution filled. I just didn't know it was going to be 80 laps of caution. That was kind of crazy. I hope we can, as the season goes on, I hope we can on the shorter tracks have a little bit more give and take, and realize that a 6th through 10th place finish is not that bad.
Sure, Chris.
Not surprised about 16 cautions for 80 laps. But I'll tell you what, when you go back and you replay that race, go back and watch it, on Tarmac Esports. It's a lot of guys just losing it on their own. It was in this race. I don't know the number exactly. I had it, 2 weeks ago when I reviewed it there, but it was probably 13 of the 16 cautions were people just losing it on their own, and we're just pushing it. I get it. But in Bristol was a little bit tricky, but I think we can do a little bit better.
Yeah.
Hopefully Richmond's better later on.
And a lot of the accidents that did happen that I seen, some of them happened right in front of the leader when the leader was coming around to lap them, and it's like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine what those leaders are thinking. And one of them was Nick Galusha, where he was so dominant in this race, and something happens in front of him, and I don't really understand what happened there. It was Sam Reed came off the turn. He was getting lapped by Nick Galusha, came off the turn. I don't know if he was looking in his rearview mirror to give way, but came out of the turn and then just smacked the wall down the backstretch, and they came across the track, and then it collected Nick Galusha on that as well. Things like that just happened, and it was like, you wonder if some of it was the pressure of those leaders coming up on those guys and potentially going to put them a lap down. They didn't want to become that person a lap down, and was just pushing, and then they cause themselves to, get in the wall or spin or whatever it may be the case.
That's exactly what it was, Ryan. Even when we've done this race before, we've done Bristol before, me and Grant are back in the back just saving our tires. We'd have the leaders that were coming up on us, within 1 or 2 seconds, and that's when we knew, okay, we've got to start pushing so that they don't lap us. And so that happens, right? Fortunately, when we were doing that, we're taking care of our tires, so we can push like that. But if those guys are running hard as well, and then they have the leaders come up on them, and they're going to start pushing, that causes issues.
Yeah. Chris, did you see any of that? Because, you was in this race, and what did you feel whenever the green flag drops? How soon did you feel the pressure of them coming back up on you?
I actually ran fairly well up until towards the end of this race. So, I made it a point right from the beginning of the race, once we qualified, that I didn't want to be at the very back because I didn't want to be that first car taken over. Yeah. So I did my best at trying to stay at least in the middle teens, 10th to 15th range. I stayed there for a lot of the race, and then some incidents happened, and then I found myself up there around 5th for a little bit around the middle point of the race. But, I didn't see a lot of the incidents because as small as the track is and you get spread out a little bit, you just don't see them until I went back and reviewed them. And I got to admit, a lot of the racing was fairly clean. It was just a lot of people losing it.
Yeah. And some of it was just maybe that small touch of another car, and that was it. I think one of them that I seen was a little bit of net code there, where, and I know you've talked about it, Patrick. That's the thing. Sometimes you can't race as close as what you would in a real car because of just net code, and you're going to have that because this is online sim racing, and they try to do the best that they can, but it's going to happen. It's out there. So
yeah, the game would treat what would in real life be just a little tap, right? Would treats that as an all-out hit and spins you, right? Yeah. So yeah, we got to be careful. I usually don't pinch people, down low. If I'm on outside line, I won't pitch people down low until there's like 10 laps to go and I'm really fighting for a finishing position. Yeah. So I give them tons of room during the race, during the regular part of the race.
So looking at the standings above us, you can see them there. No change at the top of the leaderboard. Timothy Lewis still is your points leader after round 4, coming in here to Michigan International Speedway. Trevor Catalano, though, he has improved a lot and up 4 positions. And it kind of reminds me like, you said last week, Patrick, whenever I picked him second, that you was like, oh yeah, he's a good sleeper. Well, he's no sleeper anymore. I don't feel like, after we've seen some of the races out of him, that he is a true contender to be inside the top 3 each and every week. Alex Straczynski, he does drop one position back, but still yet he's inside the top 5 here in points. Nick Galusha stays strong right there at 4th. And I have a lot more information on Nick Galusha, and I do want to get more into that here in just a minute after we go through all these standings. Ernie Williams, still in that 5th position. Then you look on back in through here. 6th is Kyle Wellman. He is one of your biggest movers in points after finishing 2nd, his career or his season high of 2nd here in this truck series. He's in that 6th position, up 7 spots. 7th is Paul Negus. He's up 2. Nate Davis has dropped down 3 spots. Paul Fly down 2. Randy Lapidus has moved up 2. Over into the next column, 11th, Harold Ralph. He's moved up 4 positions since round 3, so great for him. Zach Dykstra up 5, another good mover. 13th, Derek Rolfling. He is down 3 right now. Grant Clark up 2. Patrick Day, you dropped 1 position from last week. 16th is Byron Gay. He is down 5, and we do have some more information on Byron Gay here in just a little bit on his finishing out of the season. 17th is Jeff Herman. 18th is Andrew Thornton. 19th is Ryan Palmer. 20th is Steve Miller. Steve Miller still inside the top 20 there. I see Chris smiling. Just a little smirk there. I see the smirk, and it's like, it's not going to last. It's not going to happen. He will drop out of the 20th position. Just a matter is when. When's it going to happen?
I don't know. He put a lot of laps in. He put a lot of laps in this week.
I'm excited. That's cool. It's awesome to see a guy like that to go out there and just keep putting in laps, because he sees that, okay, he's having an okay year for himself, and he is. He's having a great year. So I do want to step back to Byron there. Byron, unfortunately, work has intervened a little bit in the series, and he is no longer going to be on that first shift schedule that he has been working to open up his availability to race in the evenings. So now, unfortunately, and he has to go to work on second shift now. So with that being said, there is going to be a driver swap, and Chris, you have more information on that.
Yeah, so for a long time in the NASCAR series, we've always ran with Brandon Surt. He recently joined Miller Time Motorsports about a year ago or so as a driver. His schedule hasn't been fit to actually race with us. It just happened to be that once Byron kind of decided, well, I don't know whether he decided and wanted to go to afternoons or what, but he's going to afternoon shift. It's not going to work out for him. So we have decided to let Brandon Surt jump in there in this car. We know how he races. So I think he'll be a good addition to it and fill in well for Byron.
Yeah, and so explain a little bit about how those points are going to kind of carry over. Are you going to carry those over into Brandon Surt's name?
What we're trying to do here, we're not real sure how it's going to work on iRacing, so it's more than likely going to have to be, I wanted it to be able to just take over Byron's name, but obviously he can't run under his account and stuff like that, so we're looking into it. It may have to be just a transfer of points at some point, where we just got to transfer all of Byron's points over. What gets hairy there, and we don't know how it'll work until we do it, is with the drop weeks and how that'll affect them. So, we'll get it right. Right now, Byron's 16th in points. It's not looking like he's going to be a contender for the championship anyway, so it shouldn't, make too many people upset, but we wanted to keep the car count well, and we'll get it right in the points once we figure out how it'll add it up on iRacing.
Okay, so with that being said, let's go over and let's look at some of these top drivers that are just top drivers in this series, and they have made their name in this series. Let's take a look at those drivers right now, and I've got these guys right here. These 4 right here I feel are just dominant and solid every single week, and I want to talk a little bit more about Nick Galusha here. And I'm going to give Nick Galusha a little bit of love here, because I remember, I don't know a whole lot about the asphalt side until what Patrick was giving me early in on the season. And I remember early in the season we talked about Nick Galusha that, the consistency may not be there because he just runs really hard and he may not be there. But let's take a moment. Let's give Nick Galusha the credit that he has had throughout 4 weeks of racing, 4 rounds of racing. Out of 4 rounds, he's been inside the top 10 every single time. And 3 times he's been inside the top 5. And those 3 times that he's been inside the top 5, 2 times it was a second, and 1 time it was a third. Podium finishes there. What do you guys think of Nick Galusha? I want to know, Patrick, is he a different driver than what you've seen in the past?
It's hard to say. So we've had 4 races so far. We've had 2 short tracks, a super speedway, and a mile and a half, right? So he did well at the mile and a half, which really did surprise me. But the short tracks, both of those races have been his cookie cutter style races. Lots of cautions, run hard, get the cool tires, run hard, get the cool tires, change them. Those 2. Daytona is Daytona, so we won't count that. So tonight will really tell me whether he has actually changed his driving style and is actually taking care of those tires better. Because at the end of this run with this truck tonight, you're going to see some rear tires wear out, and there's going to be a lot of guys getting loose. It's assuming we go green flag. I think what you're going to have tonight is you're going to have a race that's kind of like Chicagoland. We might have 2 to 3 cautions here, but it's a big, wide racing surface. It's a big track. There's a lot of room to give people room. I don't think you're going to have a lot of car-to-car contact. I think the cautions you might have tonight are for people getting loose late in the runs.
Okay. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree, and I'm going to give you a little hint for later, Patrick. The Dirty Rat Bastard team, I really couldn't decide which one to pick for my top 3 tonight, so I didn't take any of them. But the same way with you, you were right there too. I wanted to take you, but I didn't take you neither. So that's just a little hint. I didn't take any of the teammates, and I didn't take you. But in the past, they have led a lot of laps, and I agree with Patrick. Okay, it's going to show tonight on the tire wear. I haven't practiced this week a whole lot. I know my teammates have. I've talked to them a lot about it. You were out there a lot with them, Ryan. But tire wear is definitely going to play a factor tonight. Okay, so we'll see. I mean, like I said, if you go back and look at all our past races at Michigan, whether it was in the trucks or the Xfinity or the Next Gen, whatever it was in, and these guys ran it, they all have led a lot of laps. But I don't know if any of them have a win. I don't remember when I looked at it, but I don't know if any of them have a win there. So Patrick's right. We'll see if they've learned their lesson. I think they have cleaned it up a little bit, probably because they're on the broadcast. But they're racing well.
Okay, so let's move on to Trevor Catalano. He wins at Bristol. The week prior, finishes solid. He's been on a tear right now the last 2 weeks. Of course, he has 2 weeks that we've already kind of deemed as his drop weeks and that he can't screw up the rest of this series. So there's no room for error for him. But he has looked really solid and been there at the end where he needs to be. We said he picks up his first career win with Miller Time Motorsports League. That's really cool. He led 47 laps last week at Bristol, is currently sitting second in points. Trevor, what do you think of him?
Yeah, he's definitely a solid racer. He's going to be top 5 from here on out. I have a feeling if nothing goes wrong during the race for him. So, interesting. You look at this board right now. I'm not sure about Alec, but Timmy, Trevor, and Nick are all real world race car drivers.
Yeah.
So that tells you something. Of that ability to be able to transfer what they do on the track week to week during the seasons and transfer it into iRacing. So Trevor's very, very good race car driver. I don't know if I'll be able to be in this year, really. And out of those top 4, I might be looking at where I'm at. I have not had a good season, and we're already down 4 or 5 races, so I think I might be out of this championship as it stands already. So we'll see.
Chris, before you say what you think about Trevor here, it's interesting to note that it's not just the speed that he has on the track. It's his knowledge of when to take tires, when not to take tires, and really down at that Bristol race, he takes the lead at lap 155 after Kyle Wellman decides that he's going to stay out on 80 lap old tires. I mean, that was no match to Trevor's 20 lap tires. I mean, he just timed it out perfect where he didn't have to pit again, and he led the rest of the race. Like, he took over command right where he needed to be and just led it the rest of the way. I just thought that was interesting too. Chris, what do you think?
Well, and that's what Patrick said about the whole, top four. At least three of the top four up there we know are real race car drivers. So, and that's exactly, whether he's ran Bristol in real life or not. I mean, he knows how that affects the car and how the tires are going to affect it, and when they're going to, when to pit and when not to. So, and to touch on him, I mean, you hit it. You said he's already used his 2 drop weeks. So this is a really good-looking top 4 right now. But one bad race, and he drops tremendously. So, I mean, he's on that edge. He's looking really good right now. I think it was a third, or a third and a first. Did he have a second in there, too? I don't know. I think he's been here 3 races, but nonetheless, I mean, he's looked impressive, so I think he'll be tough to beat the rest of the way out.
Yeah, Chicagoland, the race prior to Bristol, he had finished third. So, yeah, he's got that win and then the third place finish. Let's move on.
He had some tough luck at New Hampshire. He was running good at New Hampshire, I believe, and just had some tough luck. So
Yes, absolutely. That's the scary part, is the fact that you got to go the rest of the season and not have luck or bad luck. You can race really good and strong, but eventually luck is not going to be on your side, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
that's right.
It just doesn't happen that way. So let's move on to Alex Rosinski here. He's got his 1 win there at Chicagoland just before Bristol. So he was coming into Bristol with some kind of momentum. He does finish 10th at Bristol, so he did get inside the top 5. He's led 25 laps. I don't believe he led any there at Bristol. What do you think of Alex Rosinski and where he's at so far?
Chris will have to correct me if I'm wrong. I believe he was behind me in 6th place with 1 lap to go there. So I was running 5th. He was running 6th, I believe, and we were both unfortunate results of racing incidents there. So, yeah, he's been very solid. And yeah, and I think he's cruising really well. He's got a smart head on his shoulders. He times his races well. He doesn't push real hard. He does a really good give and take. So I think he's going to do well for the rest of the season.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've been riding the Rosinski bandwagon. I mean, I think I've picked him with quite a few weeks there, and I think he had unfortunate luck. I think it was Daytona, if I remember right.
Yes.
He was up there, led most of the race, but still survived. And then, just like Patrick mentioned, unfortunate event with our teammate, but there at the end of Bristol, which cost him a few positions too. So, yeah, I mean, I've said it last week. I think he could easily be in the hunt to win this thing.
Okay, and then let's talk about Timothy Lewis, as we didn't see him in victory lane last week or the week prior to that. His win came at New Hampshire. That was the last one. That was round 2, and here we are round 5. Have not seen him back in victory lane, but he could be a guy that could be back in victory lane here very, very soon. 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, and 3 top 20s. He's led 38 laps on the season. He led a few there at Bristol. He led 5 laps, so he was up front for a little bit. He did come home 5th there at Bristol. Timothy Lewis, what do you think of him?
Yeah, he was my pick to win the championship, right? So I know that he's a strong driver. I'm too bad we don't have a stat where we can look at it. How many laps have you performed or have you completed in the top 5, right? Because he would be in that way up in that stat. So every race he's been running well. A few of the races he's been a victim of circumstances. So the races that he wasn't, he's been finished in the top 5 or a win, right? So yeah, I look for that for the rest of the season on out for Timmy. he matured as far as saving tires a lot quicker than a lot of his teammates, which they may look like they're getting in line behind him, right? Saving those tires. So I look for him to do really well the rest of the season.
Yeah, same here. I mean, not surprised by it at all. If I wouldn't have picked Nick Galusha to win the championship, I probably would have picked Timmy. So that whole team, they're impressive. There's a love-hate relationship out there with a lot of drivers. I get a lot of complaints about that team, but they've proven they've been with us how long, Patrick? I mean, since the beginning of asphalt, pretty much. So I know they're good racers. They're respectful. They're aggressive, but not surprised to see Timmy up there in an excellent top 4 there.
Yeah, and you look at, we talked about Nick Galusha there, and he's got 4 races. We've raced 4 races, and he's been inside the top 10. So that's a guy there out of all those guys that we really looked at that has a little room for cushion, that he could have a bad race and it wouldn't really hurt him as much. So that's good for him. He's got a little cushion there that he can kind of ride. I want to talk about lap leaders now, and here's what the lap leaders look like. And Nick Galusha is the lap leader king right now with 137, but he picked 106 up just at Bristol, leading a lot of that race up front. Trevor Catalano there in second there with 62, tied with Kyle Wellman at 62. Timothy Lewis has 38, Paul Fly at 26, Alex Rosinski with 25. Oh, Patrick Day, 13 laps there led. Byron Gay at 10, Nate Davis 10, Andrew Thornton at 8. So that's currently your lap leader. I'm interested to see where this pans out at the very end of the season. Is it your champion that leads the most laps, or is it somewhere else? It's just very interesting to look at this and keep a note of where these lap leaders are throughout the season.
I mean, it helps because you get bonus points for leading the most laps, so it definitely helps leading all those laps. So, but not necessarily the leader of the most laps is going to win the race and win the championship. So we'll see how it plays out for the rest of the season.
Absolutely. All right, it's time to move on to the favorite part of this segment, is our picks for this week. So let's get over to that pick board, okay? And there is what the picks board looks like. First, second, and third. And most importantly, there's been some changes going on in the points, and I am very happy to say I have taken over the second position. Chris is now the loser right now, and I really like my apologies. So you do have 4 points.
I do have 4 points.
Oh, man, how did you catch that?
My apologies. I cannot update that right now.
That's all right. No worries.
But that is supposed to be.
I'll keep you straight.
Yeah. So I'll make sure I update that before this race starts. But hey, I'm in second. I'm pretty excited about it.
You had a good week. You had a really good week.
I had a really good week. If I could have just got him in the right position, it would have been even better. We haven't yet to do that. All right. It's time to get our picks in. Starting with Chris in that third spot. Patrick, who does he have here?
He says he didn't pick the right bastards. He didn't pick me. I think he's going to pick Nate here. Nate Davis.
Nate Davis. Chris, I'm not even sure if you've even picked Nate Davis all year, but do you have Nate Davis here in the 3 spot?
I have picked Nate Davis before, and no one has considered him.
Okay.
He is a very good pick and could potentially be here. I went with Alex Rosinski. We've already we've talked about him obviously already tonight, but he won at Chicagoland. I know Patrick mentioned it earlier in the show. This is going to run a little bit more like Chicagoland. I know they're not the same size track, but he ran very well there. He's been running well. He's had some bad luck. I think he could come home the winner, but as long as he's in my top 3, I don't care. But I believe he's going to come home third.
Great pick. I mean, it's almost like kind of know those guys. We kind of talked about those guys. That is like almost like an automatic. I know me and Chris, we do a lot of betting on football, and you try to find those like automatics. Like, what is an automatic out there? And I think Alex Rosinski is an automatic this week. It's a good pick. I like it. Patrick, number 3 spot belongs to you. Chris, what do you have?
I think he's going to go with Timmy Lewis here, honestly.
Timmy Lewis.
Good pick. Good pick. No, I didn't. It's going to look very familiar. Alex Rosinski, 3rd place. I actually was, when I was contemplating your pick, I thought you might pick Alex Rosinski higher, so that's why I didn't pick him here for you. But yeah, he's been strong. He had a really good running at Chicagoland. I think this race is going to play out the same way. I think he's going to be the top 3. He could win it, like Chris said. But yeah, I think he's going to come home 3rd here.
Once again, I think it's automatic, right? Must be that you guys are thinking the same. Like, this could be an automatic pick right here. I mean, I can get me some points. God knows Chris needs it. All right, let's move on. Guys, who do I have as my number 1?
Oh, what the heck? I'm going to say you're going to say Alex Rosinski.
It'll be a sweep.
I mean, you do know our picks. I think you do try to pick yours before we do ours, but I think I'm gonna go with Trevor here. Trevor Catalano.
I did have my picks in before you guys, and but Patrick's pretty smart. He's picked them right before. Well, he's smart again. I did pick Alex Rosinski here. A clean sweep there for the 3rd position. That's interesting. That don't happen very often.
It doesn't.
And there it is. I think we all kind of feel that way. He's an automatic pick here. I think we all going to put him right here in the 3rd position to finish at Michigan International Speedway. Alex Rosinski sweeps the board on the 3s. All right, let's move on to that 2nd column. 2nd place is going to go to who? Patrick, what do you think?
I can't pick a rat bastard. Can't pick myself. I think he's going to say Trevor Catalano here.
Okay. Chris. Is he smart?
Good pick. But no.
Oof.
No, he didn't hit it. I'm going to go with my teammate, Derek Roffing. I know you had some trouble with him there last week, Patrick, or 2 weeks ago. I think it's all settled now. He did get penalized some points there in the championship, but he's been running well. He was right up there at the end of Bristol. He was 4th at Chicagoland. If he wouldn't have been penalized in them 10 championship points, he would have been in 7th in the point standings right now, only 10 points back of the leader. I think he's going to come home 2nd. He's going to be just short of that win, but he'll get it later this season.
I like that pick. It's interesting about him. Didn't hardly know a whole lot about him. Just kind of joined Miller Time after he knew Steve for a little bit. Ran a little bit with him. He's pretty impressive, really. He runs really well on asphalt, and so I like that pick. I like him for that 2nd position. All right, Patrick has that number 2 pick ready to be displayed. Chris, what does he have here?
I don't know. I don't think he's going with himself. And I don't think he's going to take any of the dirty rat bastards right now. I mean, we talked about it already. So I think I'm going to take Trevor Catalano here in 2nd.
Okay. Patrick?
That's a good pick. I didn't. I would like to say first, last Bristol race, yes, I was very angry with Derek right after the incident. But after I got to think about it, it was just hard racing. It was a racing incident, and I I did say so on our next race that we had, and told Chris and Ryan can vouch for this, that I didn't think Derek should have been penalized at that point. It was just good hard racing. He does drive the Dale Earnhardt colors, right? So what do you expect?
He intimidated you.
Anyway, so but yeah, no, good pick. But no, my second man I think is going to be Kyle Willman here for this race. He's been running really good. He did really well at Chicagoland. He played a smart race at Bristol. I think he's going to do well here tonight, Michigan.
It's a good pick, really good pick. I picked him to win the championship, so and he was the biggest mover in points this week, or last week, or 2 weeks ago, I should say, round 4. But hey, talking about tempers kind of flared there. That's why I opened the show up with that. Tempers flared. I was directing that to Patrick Day and others.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people got upset, but then they look at it and are like, yeah, it's just hard racing. It's part of racing, and it's Bristol. That's how things happen.
Yeah, it is. I not to interrupt you, but I wear my emotions on a sleeve when I'm racing, because I just like to be raced the way I race people. I don't race people like that. Like I said, I will finish 6th instead of spitting you out for 5th, right? So that's just the way I race. But yeah, it's just hard racing. I kind of expected that with the Dirty Rat Bastards, right? So I learned how to race those guys. A lot of these news guys I don't know how to race yet, so I just gonna have to give Derek a little bit more room here to begin in the rest of the season. So
there you go. All right, guys. Who do I have here? My number 2 spot. I'm looking to take over the lead in points this week. I got a solid top 3.
Well, interestingly, I'm going to say the same thing that I picked for second. I think you're going to say Kyle Willman here in second. So if you have a good week, that means I'm having a good week. So,
Chris,
I'm gonna go with Nick Galusha.
Galusha, number 2 spot. Here we go. Let's reveal that number 2 spot, shall we? And who I have here, I want to keep it. Trevor Catalano. There in the number 2 spot in the 55 machine. I feel like, he's a guy, he already knows it. He knows that he can't afford to have a bad week. He has to be up there. He has to be inside the top 5. He needs it. These guys are too good to fall 6th, 7th, 8th place in this race. He needs a solid week. I put him number 2 here at Michigan International Speedway.
that's a good pick.
All right. Here it is. We're moving on to the winner of this race here at Michigan International Speedway. It's Michigan, so you would think that Chris would be all over this place and probably win this sucker, Michigan fan. But probably not going to happen to a Michigan fan. They don't win a whole lot. Well, they did over the weekend. But that's beside the point, okay? Let's get on to racing. Who's going to win here? Patrick, who's he got?
I think he's gonna. Well, I said it for his second spot, but I think I can't not say this, guys. I think he's gonna put Trevor Catalano in first here.
Chris, what do you have?
I mean, I almost had Trevor in the top 3, I promise you, but I didn't take him here. I think who you have there in second, Patrick, Kyle Willman. He's been running good. He's in our garage all the time during the races, and him and Derek have been running really well together. He's going to pull one off.
Good pick.
Solid pick. Solid pick. I mean, finished second last week, 2 weeks ago at Bristol. That's momentum. A lot of times that's what these drivers need, just a little bit of momentum to get them going, that snowball effect. And maybe he will win, and we'll see our 5th different winner of this season. Very much happening. All right, Patrick, you've got the cue on that number 1 spot. Chris, what's he got there?
Wish I could tell you, honestly, I don't know. I think he's got to have Catalano here because he's been guessing for me every time, so I think he's really high on him. He's got to have him there. I don't know who else he could have here because he's not going to put a Dirty Rat Bastard there, I'm telling you.
Okay.
Yep. absolutely right, Chris. I got Catalano here. He's just been running too good. In Chicagoland, he not messed up in the pits a little bit. I think he wins that race, and I think you have a different leader on the top of the leaderboard as far as championship goes right now. But yeah, I think Catalano's going to keep his head on himself. He's not going to mess up in the pits this time. I think he's going to pull this one out.
I like the pick. I do. I just don't think he's going to win. Put him in second. And just because... And he's a guy that can do it. Any one of these guys can do it. But it is so hard to go back-to-back and win. It just is. We've seen it in the dirt side of things when we broadcasted it. It was really hard for someone to go back-to-back. It was just... It don't happen a whole lot. He could get it done. And I hope he does, because that'll go down in history too, because that doesn't happen a whole lot. What does that win streak look like? How many times can you consecutively win? It's tough to do. Alright. Who do I have up there? It's the winner here at Michigan International Speedway. I really hope one of us land one of these guys exactly right in the spot.
Nice.
And get that little boost. Of course, third just is 1 point no matter what. But, first or second, if one of us just land that. Guys.
Well, Ryan, I think you're going to match. I think you're going to match Chris here. I think you're going to say Kyle Williams going to pull this one out.
Matching Chris. Chris.
Well, I tell you, I think you're really smart to go with Kyle Wellman here. That's what you're doing. I think you're pretty high on him there when I picked him, and I realized what you're doing. You're playing defense like Michigan did. Because if you have him there, it's hard for me to get ahead of you unless Derek finished the second.
Well, I did not pick Kyle Wellman.
That's a surprise.
So he is not in my top 3. He could easily be a top 5 car, but I just don't think he's inside the top 3 here. My winner goes to... I hope I'm right. And I hope he gets it. I gave him love earlier, and I'm giving him some more love. Nick DeLucia. I'm picking him to win. Why I'm picking him to win is because, yes, we've seen some races strung out where it's long green flag runs. But I really do believe here at this race, we will see a caution within 15 to go, 20 to go. And I think that's still good enough for a guy that runs hard to be able to outrun some of these guys. I'm going to go with Nick DeLucia here to take a late pit stop, get some fresh tires, and be the guy to beat at the end of this race. And be our 5th different winner in the Truck Series of Tarmac Esports.
That's a good pick. I think it's going to be harder to pass on this track early, right? Because everybody's going to be on a level playing field as far as tires go. If we have a late lap caution, if he's up in the top 3, I think he's really got a good chance. But if he's, 5th to 10th, it's going to be really difficult.
What do you think, Chris?
I didn't run enough practice here to tell you, but from what you're telling me, I don't think he's hurting back there 5th to 10th. So we'll see what happens. But I like your philosophy, but I would say Kyle Wellman could be there in the same way. And I already know Derek's aggressive driver because, look what he did to Patrick last week. But, I think these guys will drive the wheels off those cars when it comes to the end of that race.
I can't wait. I think it's going to be exciting qualifying.
Yeah, the guys to watch out for are the ones that are the guys that are going to do well at this track are the guys that can drive a very loose race car. If you're comfortable driving a loose race car, you're going to do really well on late runs, and you're going to be up at the front.
Drivers.
All right, guys, it is time to go green flag racing. The countdown to green it's over. It's time to go racing for 120 miles around Michigan International Speedway. Can't wait to see you guys over on the other side. Let's get Michigan.
Rookie or veteran, no matter how long you've been coming to this event, there are butterflies. There have to be.
the biggest race of your career, one of the biggest races in the world. I guarantee you there's a lot of butterflies.
The white flag in the Daytona 500. It's time to get busy. Horrific crash on the final lap of the Daytona 500.
Second time, the Daytona 500 goes to Jimmy Johnson. God almighty, you just won the 500. Kurt Busch wins the Daytona 500. Are you kidding me? Wow. Are you there? Denny Hamlin wins his second Daytona 500 and wins it. Coach Gibbs, proud of you, my friend.
It's a partly cloudy day in the north for round 5 of the Tarmac Esports Truck Series at Michigan International Speedway for 120 miles. Hello everyone, I am your host Ryan Griffith. We have seen 4 different winners over 4 rounds. Will we see another winner in victory lane today? Oh, I tell you, Alex Rzazinski, he won at Chicagoland and has been inside the top 5 2 other times. Where will he stand today? Nick Galusha hasn't seen a win yet, but the only driver to be inside the top 10 4 times. And then you got this guy, Chris Miller. Where has this guy been? He's the biggest Michigan fan. And he looks to outrun his brother. His brother's been on top of him more times than not. He is currently 20th in standing. Steve Miller. Can Chris Miller conquer his brother today at Michigan International Speedway? Or Trevor Catalano. He has won the last race at Bristol Motor Speedway. He got his first career Miller Time Motorsports League race. He has some momentum on his side after 2 rounds of just dominating performance. And here we are at Michigan International Speedway. And right now qualifying has begun. And we are just about a minute and 20 seconds away from finishing up that qualifying session. And currently right now, Paul Fly is currently your fastest guy out there right now at a 40.088. Derek Roffling right there in the number 2 spot. Brandon Voiles in the 3rd spot. John Evans makes a return to the NASCAR Truck Series. He hits the 4th spot. 5th is Trevor Catalano. They just got that win there at Bristol last week. 6th is Nick Galusha. 7th is Patrick Day. 8th is Randy Lapidus. 9th is Daniel Quigley. 10th is Grant Clark. That currently right now is your top 10 in qualifying. And 30 seconds until we go qualifying. We'll step away for 30 seconds and we'll be back for your lineup. And we are back, and that is how it works out. Paul Fly is your top qualifier, and we'll sit on the pole here for Michigan International Speedway with Derek Roffling on his outside. That's your front row, and it's a good one. Paul Fly, Derek Roffling, Voiles, Evans, Catalano, Galusha, Day, Lapidus, Quigley, and Clark. That's your top 10 to start here at Michigan International Speedway. Again, this one is the Michigan 120. We got 120 miles. So what does that look like? Well, that looks like 60 laps around here. You look at it, 60 laps, 120 miles, and you got 55 miles an hour down that pit road. They will be stopping in this one, and maybe more than just once. As that pit window, 25 to 28 laps is that pit window. So you've got 60 laps. Can some of them stretch the way and get there and only one stop? It's possible. And then you look at the track facts here at Michigan. 2 miles around here. Your banking's at 18 degrees. Your front stretch at 12 degrees. Your back stretch at 5 degrees. Your length, well, that front stretch is pretty long, 3,600 feet. The back stretch, a little bit shorter, 2,242. The width of this track, pretty wide. You got the corners at 73 feet. Your front stretch with the apron is 57 feet. And your back stretch is 45 feet. So it's going to be an exciting and fun one here at Michigan International Speedway as we look down on pit road at the 94 machine. That is Paul Fly. He is your pole setter in this one in the 94 machine. Derek Roffling there in the 88. He's the Intimidator machine. He intimidated some there at Bristol last week. He's maybe going to do the same here. We shall see. Brandon Boyles starting third, his highest qualifying start of the season. Johnny Evans. Johnny Evans in that 14 machine, his first race back to the Truck Series is here. You got Trevor Catalano. He won last week in the 55 machine. Nick DeLucia, really good driver there in the 20 machine. As we talked in the Countdown to Green session, you see there that he has been inside the top 10 4 times out of 4 rounds. So you can bet that he's probably going to be inside that top 10. He's still seeking for that first win. Can he possibly get it today? Patrick Day, a really good qualifying spot. He's in the 7th position. 8th, Randy Lapidus, Grant Clark, Daniel Quigley. Paul Negus on back in here. Sam Reed. Ernie Williams, he was a winner at Daytona International Speedway. Timothy Lewis back here. He won at New Hampshire in the 41 machine. John Ott back there in the 15th position. Kyle Wellman, Ryan Palmer, Chris Miller. Brandon Surratt taking over the 73 machine of of Byron Gay. Josepher back here in the 93 machine. Harold Ralph, Stephen Palmer, Zach Dykstra, Larry Bell, Greg Bridge, Alex Strzezinski, clear back here to 26th position. Steve Miller back here towards the back. Bobby Smith also qualified. He has not made it out of the speedway. We are green flag here as they came to the Geico restart zone. Paul Fly jumps out to the early command here and looks to try to set himself up for a win. He's still looking for his first win on the season. Side-by-side racing as they exit out of turns 2 there. Good side-by-side racing early in on this, and the question is, will any of these guys just settle down and maybe go single file here early in this race? And how many cautions will we see here at Michigan? Fewest amount of cautions that we've seen in this series is 3. Will we see fewer than that? Looks like maybe going to be a 3 wide here with Grant Clark in the middle, the 42 on the outside. That's Kyle Wellman as they drag race down the backstretch. Kyle Wellman now looking to the inside of the 52 machine there. Does look like he is going to clear that. Clark back up front. Johnny Evans just made a pass on the lead for that first position as Paul Fly kind of drops back. Now here comes Nick DeLucia. DeLucia's wanting the lead as he was a big-time leader last week and led the most laps. And when you lead the most laps, you're going to find yourself some extra bonus points in. That's what he's looking for here as he takes over the race lead from that 14 machine. The 14 now looking back to the outside. They'll side by side down the backstretch. Johnny Evans and Nick DeLucia just battling it out up here up front. Early in, 3 laps in of a nice long 60-lap race. Nick DeLucia does look like he's going to lead this lap and pick up some extra bonus points right there. He does so. Trevor Catalano, Randy Lapidus now to the inside, looking underneath Trevor. As you've got Patrick Day running the top side, and already you see Kyle Wellman's on the move in that car. He's up 9 spots in this race. He's a big-time mover from the beginning of this race. In just 4 laps, he's moved up 9 positions. 41 of Timothy Lewis now takes to the bottom side. He's past This look 3 wide here on this turn. Hey, they're going to look to go 4 wide here on the exit of 4. And maybe thinks a little bit otherwise of that as the 42 just gets up behind the 52 and tries to shove him on up through here. Now the 42 looks to the bottom, just in front of the 41. They will clear each other. Oh, this is going on. Nick Galusha has taken over the lead. Now Johnny Evans now back to the outside of him. Still side-by-side racing for that top position right now. Trevor Catalano there on the top side. Kyle Wellman trying to take a peek underneath, not able to do so right now. Here comes Timothy Lewis looking to the inside of them. You got Paul Negus in the 52 on the outside. He's sporting just a little bit different paint scheme that we're used to. Normally in that blue car, now he's got a little orange to that car in that 52 machine. Right behind him, Derek Roffling runs in that 8th position. He's dropped 6 spots from the beginning of this race, so maybe some tire saving going on there for the 88 machine. Ryan Palmer up 8 positions, but your biggest mover so far in this race has to be the number 42. He's up 11 positions in this one. Nick Galusha now has cleared the 14 machine. Now has looking to set sail with that 20 machine and see if he can lead a lot of laps here as he did last week. of Sam Reed looking to the inside of the 24. Patrick Day, Grant Clark coming up on his teammate as well. Look on back in here, Brandon Surratt taking over Byron Gay's machine. He's doing well right now, up 4 spots into that 15th position. Paul Fly, he was your pole setter in this, and he is currently running 3rd right now. So he's dropped a few spots from the beginning of this race, but still running really well inside the top 5. These two up front, Nick Galusha, Johnny Evans, they're running pretty identical lap times. Now the 14 going to look to the outside of the 20 machine, going to try to get a run here. Look at the intervals here. You can see there, Johnny Evans able to make that pass on your race leader of Nick Galusha, so they'll switch her back up. Johnny Evans now to the point here in the 14 machine. 20 gets a nice draft off of him, now takes to the outside. These two are about a second and a half in front of Paul Fly. That was your pole setter early in on this. Question is, are these guys running too hard? Will it pan out for them? Well, we have a caution early. Already 9 laps into this, and cars are starting to spread out. So will tire saving come into play here? Kyle Wellman now takes over the 94 machine. He takes over the 3rd position. Move Kyle Wellman up into the 3rd position, up 13 spots from the beginning of this race. Another big mover is Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer's running in the 7th position, up 10 spots in this race. Last week's winner, Trevor Catalano. He's down 8 in this race in the 55 machine. He runs 13th. See, Nick Galusha has taken the lead back over from Johnny Evans, and Evans starts to slip back just a little bit. About 2/10 back from your race leader. Up on your screen, you'll see your last lap times as they come across the line. You'll see who's the fastest out there currently. Last lap, Johnny Evans was faster than your race leader of Nick Galusha. Galusha goes way down to the bottom of the track. These two look like they're very, very fast on short runs. Looking on back there, Ryan Palmer at a 40.794, running in the 6th position, so he's looking pretty good right now. You see Patrick Day down there running a 41.015. You can imagine he's probably doing some tire saving here early in on this one. 11 laps down of a 60-lap race. Probably about a third of the way through until we start to see green flag pit stops. If we
stay green. There's your best lap of the race. Kyle Wellman holds that one at a 30.884. Blistering speed there. There's your position gains. Of course, Kyle Wellman up 13 positions in this. And some of your losers. Biggest loser, Catalano, down 9 spots from the beginning. Start to see the third place car of Kyle Wellman and Paul Fly both starting to catch Johnny Evans now. As maybe those cars may have ran a little bit too hard early in on this, and now these cars are starting to close the back up on them. As you can see, Paul Fly now looking to the inside of that second position of Johnny Evans. Paul Fly down to the bottom, side by side across the line. Paul Fly will have that position as they cross the line in that third spot. Where will Wellman go? Wellman will go to the bottom as well to try to get around. And he just barely sneaks his way back in front of Evans there. And 42 now looks underneath the 94 of Paul Fly. Kyle Wellman looking for the race lead here. He's seeking it. He's coming there quick. He's up 14 spots from the beginning of this race. Paul Fly and Kyle Wellman does look like they've got a lot of speed right now. There's your last laps on time. You can tell Galusha quite a bit slower than these two behind him. As the 42, the 94, they start to close in on that 20 car. The 20 gets a little loose, gets into the outside wall there. That opens up the door, side by side, door banging right there. The 42 and the 94. 42 gets a big shove down the backstretch on the 20. Kyle Wellman trying everything he can to get to the lead, but the 94 is in position to take that lead away from the 20 machine. His teammate side by side. And here comes Kyle Wellman to the very bottom. 3 wide for the race lead. 16 laps in, and we got a 3 wide for the race lead. The 42, the 94, and the 20. 42 goes down to the bottom side. And now Paul Fly gets really loose, and wow, he held on to it. Great save, and now Nick Galusha gets loose. Oh, we talked about this on the pre-race show, the countdown to green. Patrick Day said when these tires start to go away, it will get slick out there. Now here comes Derek Roffling to the inside of the 42. The 88 of Derek Roffling into the Intimidator. He's looking to intimidate these top drivers up here with Nick Galusha and Kyle Wellman 1-2 right now. Paul Fly now pushing the 42. 42 now to the outside. That's Wellman, and Wellman to the lead. Nick Galusha does not want to give that one up too quick right now. Big battle up here for the front position. Side by side, another 3 wide on the exit of 4. Oh, on the exit of 2, sorry, down the backstretch. Kyle Wellman has taken that position over. Looks like he may hold on to that for the moment. Nick Galusha now another big hard slide in that turn. You can see that car just pitching around. He's very loose. Here comes Timothy Lewis now to the inside of him. Timothy Lewis up into the 3rd spot. Paul Fly now to the inside of the 42. It's a big-time battle here for the last 3-4 laps here around Michigan International Speedway. Man, would we love to see this kind of racing at the end of the race, and we may see it. You never know what's going to happen towards the end of this, as we are closing in on about 10 laps or so until green flag pit stops. These guys are going to have to sort themselves out before that time comes, or it's going to be a hot mess on pit road. Paul Fly on the inside looking to lead this lap. Here comes Wellman back on the outside. Wellman will lead this lap by a nose. Timothy Lewis still looking for some bonus points in this as he runs in that 3rd position, but he looks really good right now too. As you guys look at this, you can see the lap times and what these guys are being able to do. There it goes. Paul Fly with another slider line right in front of him. He hits the wall just a little bit. And the 42 gets back underneath of him. Timothy Lewis is your teammate of that 94 machine. 94 trying to crunch down that 42 machine. These guys are racing really, really hard up front here, and it's fun to watch. As Paul Fly and Kyle Wellman is putting on a show for you fans right now, and it's a fun one. Timothy Lewis right behind him, hoping that one of these guys make a mistake. Right now, Timothy Lewis decides that he's not, and you can see sparks come off the tires right there as they were side by side, just banging wheels here. With 20 laps in of this 60-lap race, here comes Timothy Lewis. Now looks to the inside. He opens up the door for Nick Galusha to come to the outside there. Not going to do it. 42 going to push. Or I'm sorry, the 41's going to push the 42 just on past Paul Fly, and he did it very, very well. Timothy Lewis now up into the second position. Here comes Paul Fly back to the inside. Not going to give up yet. Here comes Wellman down the block to the inside. Derek Roffling still in the mix here. He's in fifth and just kind of watching right now, buying his time back in here. While all of this is going on, you got a couple of different movers on back into the field. Grant Clark has moved up inside the top 10. He runs 9th right now. But, man, we can't keep our eyes off of this top group. As there, Paul Negus now making a big-time move to the inside of that 14 machine. And Derek Roffling had a huge run there on the exit of 2. Back in here, Kyle Wellman, your leader right now. But the question is, how long will that lead hold as these guys are all over the place? Timothy Lewis, Nick Galusha, Paul Fly. Those are teammates right there, those three. And the only one that doesn't have a teammate is that 42 machine. The 42 gets a little bump from that 20 car. Oh, the 41 gets a little loose there on the inside. He holds it. Another drag race down the backstretch again, side-by-side racing. Now they single file down the backstretch. Nick Galusha now looking for the peak. Nick Galusha to the inside. Timothy Lewis to the outside. Things quiet down for the moment. We can breathe just a little bit as we've seen a good 7-8 laps around here where it was just mayhem up front and a lot of fun to watch. Timothy Lewis, Nick Galusha side by side for that second position. 23 laps in of the 60-lap race should be coming up on green flag pit stops here momentarily. Oh, and Paul Fly gets into the wall pretty good there. That opens up the door for the 88 machine of Roffling. Move Roffling up into the 4th position. Now we got a chance to go back here and look at that 10 car, Ryan Palmer, that's up 9 spots. He's inside the top 10. Grant Clark, we talked about him. He's inside the top 10. Ernie Williams inside the top 10. Grant Clark, Patrick Day in the 11th position. Three straight cars just stacked up down the backstretch, just running hard. 24 laps in on this race. 42 goes down to the bottom side to kind of protect that line a little bit. Maybe squeeze the 41 down a little bit. Use up some of those tires. It's Timothy Lewis. Comes right back to the top side. Nick Galusha looked like he was content to stay behind him. Gave him a little push down the front stretch. So the question is, when will cars start to pit? When we find that out, we will let you know when these cars start to pit. And how long will it take the leaders to start to pit? Will anybody do a short pit here? Or will they try to stretch this to lap 30 to make it a one-stop pit? Can they do it is the question. As you see there, Timothy Lewis able to make the move on Kyle Wellman. Wellman back down to the bottom to lead that lap again. So give him another lap led. Oh, man, maybe a little contact there with the 41 and a 42. That 42 is out for blood today. He's wanting to win. He hasn't got a win yet. And he gets a little loose there on the exit of 2. Oh, little bumper there for the 41 machine. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty exciting when we get down to the end of this race. At the end of this one. As you can see, cars starting to hit pit road. That was Timothy Lewis. You got teammates. It's all coming in together. They got Timothy Lewis, the 20. You got the 94 of Fly. You got Nick Galusha. You got several cars here. You got several cars in. Nick Galusha, Paul Fly, John Evans, Timothy Lewis, Ryan Palmer, Alex Trzynski, Zach Dykstra, Stephen Polacek, Randy Lapidus, Zach Dykstra, if I did say him. So about half the field came in this lap. So will the other half come in this time? We'll check and see if the 42 comes down pit road this time. And yes, he will. He will come down pit road this time. As like we said, that pit window, stretching it to 28 was a lot. Stretching it to 30, was that even a chance to happen? As Kyle Wellman, Derek Rothling, Grant Clark, Patrick Day, Daniel Quigley, Trevor Catalano, and John Ott is all in on pit road right now. Paul Negus took over your race lead, and he will lead a couple laps here as Paul Negus in the 52 machine. As he's dipping off onto the pit road here, and he's looking to surrender the lead as he led a lap there. So Paul Negus in on pit road. Ernie Williams Jr., Brandon Surratt, and Harold Ralph is all in on the pit road. Here comes the first group back around from pit stops. Timothy Lewis, John Evans, Kyle Wellman on up in here. Kyle Wellman had a great pit stop, by the way. Hopefully we can maybe show pit times here. Ernie Williams still out on the pit, and he's just now surrendered the lead there. Well, boy, Kyle Wellman looking really, really good after that pit stop. Great pit stop by him. We'll pull up the gaps here. A 1.2 second gap from Evans. So great pit stop by the Wellman crew. Ryan Palmer also had a really good pit stop. He's up into the 5th position now. He's into the up 12 spots from the beginning of this race. There you can see the difference in pit stops. Evans, Lewis, and Fly, and Palmer, they all came in lap 26, and Wellman was lap 27 with Day as well. So Day has found himself inside the top 10 once again. These three right here, the 14, Timothy Lewis, and Paul Fly, all teammates right now. And they're all running together. Maybe got a draft going here, so starting to close in on your race leader, Kyle Wellman. Again, these 4 cars right here, Evans, Lewis, Fly, and Palmer, all teammates looking to track down Wellman that is leading this race. Had a great pit stop there on lap 27. So everyone has to make another pit stop. Nobody can make it to the end. The question is, when do you pit? That is to be determined still. We have not seen a caution flag yet. If we go green flag, do you wait until 6 laps to go to come in and stop? Or do you divide this run up? It's very interesting to see how some of this pit strategy may come out to play. And that's where we may see this race come down to. Who has the best strategy at the end of this one? As you can see, these guys is caught now. Kyle Wellman. Wellman was in the lead coming out of the pits by about a second and a half, and now that is gone entirely as these guys work very well together, drafting down the backstretch as the 14 now looks to the inside of the 42, and oh my goodness, the 41 sent it in there hard and just took out Kyle Wellman. Wellman is in some big time trouble now. That car is destroyed. And Timothy Lewis just sit it in there way too hard, and wow. That is interesting. Very, very interesting to see that one from the 41. Timothy Lewis taking out a Kyle Wellman that was running a really good race. Caution flag will not come out for that, unfortunately, because he did not spin. So Wellman is limping around the track, maybe hoping that officials will throw a caution for the speed of his car, but man, he is in rough shape right now. Paul Fly now commands of the race lead right now. Johnny Evans, Timothy Lewis runs third, and Ryan Palmer. So teammates all up inside the top 4. Wow. Things have heated up, and now the caution flag waves as the car must have stalled out on the track, and that has to be Kyle Wellman. In that car, yes, caution flag. Caution flag's out on the speedway for that 42 machine of Kyle Wellman, and I'm afraid to say we might want to watch out for that 42 as he comes through this field, as he'll make repairs to that thing, and I imagine that guy is not happy. We got a second. We're going to take a break. We need one. We're just over halfway here at Michigan International Speedway.
In a world where being at your peak is everything, one gas station dares to fuel more than just your car. This summer, don't just fill your gas tank, fuel your peak potential.
Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
Download the Sunoco app today. Fuel up, save up, and fuel your best.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now.
Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Tarmac Esports Truck Series at Michigan International Speedway. 37 laps down of 60 laps. All the cars are on pit road as this is the final pit stop of the day. As we've seen Timothy Lewis get into Kyle Wellman. Wellman into the outside wall. And wow, fireworks have begun in this one. We've got 22 laps to go, and it's just getting started, guys. It's just getting started, as we will probably see Kyle Wellman come through this field pretty quick. Will be interesting to watch that one as we try to get a hold of Timothy Lewis. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Timmy, we have seen you running really well up front there. Got a little bit of contact there with Wellman. What was that?
I'm not sure. I don't know if he just kind of came down a little more than I was expecting him to going into the corner, if I drifted up a little bit and got into him, but I wasn't expecting it, and I feel bad for it. But obviously, we're racing hard together, so it sucks.
Yeah, some hard racing up front, and it's been an exciting one and fun one, and you've got 4 teammates right there inside the top 4. We've got 22 to go. What's your chances here to win here?
I don't know. I'm gonna just ride out and see what happens here. I'm not really good at Michigan, so we're just gonna hope for the best and get a top 3.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And that was Timothy Lewis there. We got him on the radio. Paul Fly is your leader right now, and see if we can summons him before we go green flag pit. Green flags here. If Paul Fly, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, Paul, you started on the pole. Have looked really good up front. Here you are sitting right back there in the first position. What's your chances to win this thing?
I'm hoping pretty good. I think we got a fast truck. We'll see what happens here. I know I got some fast teammates up here, and who knows who else can, pop up here at any moment. There's a lot of fast guys in here, so fingers crossed, and we'll race it out and see what happens.
Well, let's put a show on like we've seen already. Good luck to you.
That's the plan. Thank you.
94, Paul Fly there. The 14 of his teammate Evans. The 41 of Timothy Lewis and Ryan Palmer runs 1, 2, 3, and 4 teammates there. Don't count out this guy right on back here in the 24. That is Patrick Day. He's been running a good race. He's in that 6th position. Lights are out on the iRacing pace truck. We're ready to go green flag here. Kyle Woman's restarting here, 23rd in this one. Let's keep an eye on him. It'll be fun. That's for sure. 21 laps to go. Green flag is out. I think someone said it's go time for that 24 machine of Patrick Day. He's up into the 4th position, up 2 spots already from the start of this green flag run, and we're already on the backstretch. And he's ready to go right now and lead maybe some laps here early in. Paul Fly still in command right now with Timothy Lewis right there in that 2nd position. Patrick Day right there behind him, looking to try to get around him right now. Not able to do it. It's kind of a traffic jam right now for him. Now they single it up there, all 4 teammates with Patrick Day to the bottom. Now he slides back in front. These guys seem like they're working together well right now. Timothy Lewis now looking to the outside of Paul Fly. This is it, folks. No more pit stops unless we get a caution within the next couple laps. You may see some guys come down for some fresh tires. You never know. But right now, these top 5 are looking pretty good. You see the 24 backs off a little bit. That was Patrick Day. Derek Roffling takes over the 4th position, battling hard with Ryan Palmer for that 4th position.
couple cars get into the wall back there, and there's a car around, and we've got an accident. Caution flag waves out in the speedway. We have an accident, and that one was Harold Ralph, Nick Galusha, a couple guys involved in that. Oh man, what a hit! The 52 took to that 15 car. Wow, hard hit there. First caution flag of the day. Take another look here. Bam, hard hit. Wow, Patrick Day gets very lucky to miss that one. It happens just in front of him, or just behind him, and somehow he didn't get collected, so. Wow. So cars in for repairs. Will anybody pit here is the question. We haven't been on these tires that long. Will someone pit? I would imagine some of these guys towards the back of the pack may end up pitting here. So far, no takers right now. There we got Kyle Wellman. Does look like takes him down pit road. Got a couple other takers. Yeah, Wellman right there. Kind of figured he'd come in for some fresh tires here, so he's going to have some fresh tires. Whew, it's going to be exciting. Will these fresh tires pay off for you? Is the question. Daniel Quigley in, Brandon Voiles, Brandon Surratt, Chris Miller, Zach Dykstra, a couple takers here. See if that'll pay off for them. We're going to have 16 cars in front of you that did not pit, so. Hey, Johnny, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Hey, Johnny, looking good up there, running with your teammates there. Not elected to go in for pit stop here. A couple guys from about 16th on back took the pit stop. What will prevail here? Are you guys in good shape where you're at?
Yeah, we're just trying to work together and get away from the pack. And I got to save some fuel, actually. I'm good, but I just need to save some more. But we should be all good if we stay in a line and set sail.
All right, well, we've seen some good racing. We hope to see some more racing towards the end of this that's close. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Johnny there. Nick Galusha here in the 20 machine. He's back here in the 8th position right now. Yeah, keep an eye on him as well. I'm surprised he didn't come down maybe for for new tires, but he didn't do it. So you got Kyle Wellman back here on very fresh tires. So will it be enough when we get back going green flag here? The iRacing Pace Truck lights are out, ready to go green flag once again. Thank you for tuning in to the Tarmac Esports over there on the YouTube channel. Thank you for tuning in. It's been a fun one here at Michigan INT'L Speedway. Our first caution flag of the day comes on lap 44. A couple guys come in to pit. A couple guys stay out. What does things play out to work? I mean, can some of these guys make up the track position? And you already heard it. Evans has got to save just a little bit here to make it.
Here, green flag. Caution flag is out on the speedway once again. This does look like Randy Lapidus was involved. 3 wide back here. Going into turn 1. And Alex Jasinski involved as well. That did not work for Randy Lapidus there. To the inside, maybe Alex Jasinski may have came down a little bit, but hey, that's 3 wide racing trying to go early in on these runs, and it just did not pan out for them. A couple of these guys up front, that's what they really needed. Kyle Wellman moved up a couple spots there. He's in the 12th position, so that may have benefited him a little bit here. We're just going to keep an eye on that as Kyle Wellman got involved in an accident there, running up front with the lead with that 41 machine. So we will be once again under caution. That's our second caution flag of the race. 12 laps remain as we come down to 10 to go here when we get the green flag at the end, towards the end of this race. In the comment section below, if you're there and you've got a fan or you got a favorite driver, I should say, that you're looking at wants to win, who do you think is going to win this race? You got some really good drivers up front. 4 teammates right now of Lewis, Fly, Palmer, and Evans. And then you got Patrick Day that has not won a race yet, but has won a race in the Truck Series before. Derek Roffling in the 6th. Trevor Catalano, he's been a winner. Nick Galusha, he's been inside the top 10 4 straight races. And he gets himself inside the top 5 for the 4th time. Got Kyle Wellman back here in the 12th position. So we shall see how this one plays out. See if we can get a hold of the 42 machine. Kyle Wellman, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. You got me?
We got you. You got yourself some fresh tires. Sitting in that 12th position right now. Maybe in a pretty good spot here. I know you got in an accident early, but what do you think you've got here with, we'll probably say 10 to go when we go green flag here?
Might as well just stay right where I am, because if you get anywhere near the dirty rat bastards, they'll just wreck you. So they've been hitting me and wrecking me all season long. So we'll just let them go wreck each other. They're driving pretty dumb up there. So
some feud already starting between teams. Good luck to you here at the end of this one.
Yep. Thank you.
There, you heard it. I mean, tempers are flaring already. Teammates up front leading this one. Timothy Lewis, Paul Fly, Evans, and Palmer. The gloves are off, it seems like, up front. Anything can happen in this one. It's going to be fun, as we're going to have 10 to go here when we go green flag racing. All right, iRacing pace track lights are out. Hold on. Buckle up one more time. Hopefully we get a green flag run to the end here, It's going to be fun. Timothy Lewis, Paul Fly, Johnny Evans, Ryan Palmer. Ryan Palmer now looking to the race lead here for this first time of this race in the 10 car. Looks to the inside of his teammate, the 41 of Timothy Lewis. Drag race down the back stretch for these guys. Ryan Palmer to the inside, the other two on the outside, now 3 wide with Patrick Day in the middle. Oh man. Here we go, 10 to go, gloves are off, you can see it. Cars are bouncing around, trucks are bouncing around. It's go time now. Timothy Lewis now takes over the race lead from Ryan Palmer. He slips back just a little bit. Patrick Day is going after this one. He's inside the top 3. Nick DeLucia's right there. Oh man, they are bouncing around, moving around quite a bit. Everyone's looking for their way up through here. Patrick Day to the inside, 3 wide, Nick DeLucia. Wow, what a save by Nick DeLucia. He got pinned right there in the middle and he held on to it. The 88 car is up into the wall and he loses a lot of momentum here. Back on up front, Paul Fly, Timothy Lewis, side by side, 7 laps to go. Wellman up into the 9th position. Lewis, Paul Fly, back and forth they go. Johnny Evans now going to come up into the picture and go side by side with that 41 machine. Patrick Day running the top side a little bit there. He's got Trevor Catalano to his inside. We haven't talked a whole lot about Trevor Catalano today, as he is now inside the top 5. Paul Fly has taken over the race lead momentarily. And don't blink now, and there's a wreck. And Wellman gets through it just barely. He does get a little contact there, but wow, there's an accident. We seen it coming. Caution flag. Out on the speedway, we're going to have a drag race on this one. This is going to get pretty interesting here. Caution flag flies out on the speedway. iRacing isn't giving us the command that who was involved in that wreck, so we'll have to go back manually and find that. We'll get that for you here in just a second. As it does look like maybe Trevor Catalano was involved in that. He was a little bit off the pace as well. Oh man, the 14 car comes up in front of the 55. Thought he had him cleared, did not. Catalano goes into the wall. As we will look on board here with Catalano. We said that Trevor Catalano couldn't have a bad race, and unfortunate for him to get involved there. This is on board with Kyle Wellman here. The wreck happens, gets to the outside. A little contact, maybe not too much there. It's going to hurt him. We'll try to ride on board with Nick DeLucia. Nick DeLucia right here. That happens right to his right side.
gets out of there, bails out quick. As we are under caution for the third time now, and it is going to really get exciting now, as you've got Kyle Wellman now in the 6th position with fresh tires. He has really good chance here with some fresh tires. Now, wow. Hold on. Do not leave right now, as it's going to get exciting. I will show you. Let's see if I can find it. Pit lap. Yep, here we go. There is where they last pitted. So everyone ahead of Kyle Wellman pitted on lap 37. Kyle Wellman on lap 44. So has quite a few laps fresher tires. Isn't enough to make the run here late, as it's going to be a green-white checkered finish on this one, I believe. Who does everyone have here? Who is your pick to win this one? I don't know, I'm excited. I'm up in my seat. I got my seatbelt buckled. I'm ready for some action, because it's going to get a little wild here up front. And you got Patrick Day on the outside of row number 1 right now. You got Nick Galusha right there. Galusha, you can't count him out. Paul Fly. Timothy Lewis right there. He's a winner. But you got Paul Fly, it's not a winner. Patrick Day that hasn't won. Nick Galusha that hasn't won. Ryan Palmer that hasn't run. And Kyle Wellman that hasn't won. They're top 6. Timothy Lewis being the only one that has had a win this season. We may see another winner this go around. Let's hold on. Let's see what happens here. This is going to be on the command of that 94 of Paul Fly. Here we go. iRacing pace truck dips off the speedway. We're looking for the green flag here out of turns number 4. Green flag, and oh man, he spun his tires, the 94. That opens up the door for the 24 of Patrick Day. Here comes Kyle Wellman too. Wellman up into the 5th position already, really quick. Paul Fly tries to push the 24 up the track a little bit. A drag race off. Lap 48 of 60. Drag race down the backstretch, the 24. Nick Galusha pushing right behind him. Kyle Wellman back there. The 41 of Timothy Lewis there runs in the 3rd position. Patrick Day goes to the top side to get a big time run here down the front stretch. Will it be enough here? We come to lap 49. 2 laps to go. Nick Galusha really pushing the 24. Here comes Nick Galusha to the inside. Patrick Day on the outside of the 94. 2 laps remaining here, and wow, that's some close racing there up front with Paul Fly and Patrick Day. Patrick Day to the outside. He's trying to capture his first win on the season and rebound the season that has not been the best for him. Nick Galusha to the inside. He's trying everything he can. Here comes Kyle Wellman now. Wellman now looks to the inside of Nick Galusha. The 42 is on the move here. White flag is waving out here. 1 more lap around Michigan International Speedway. Paul Fly is your leader right now up front in the 94. We got a wreck back here. Wreck in the back of the pack, and it's a big one. Big time wreck, truck upside down. We're going to have to go back to the front of the pack here as it's a drag race down the backstretch. Patrick Day looks to the inside of the 94. The 94 will try to have the momentum on the exit of 4. Side by side through 3 and 4. Who will be the winner at the line? The 94, the 24, side by side at the line. Give it to Paul Fly. Paul Fly is your winner in the 94. Oh, what a race that one was. Came right down to the wire. You can see it there, the interval .006, and Patrick Day is heartbroken, was not able to get the win there at the line. Paul Fly is your winner. Patrick Day put on a show there at the line. Kyle Wellman comes home in the third position. My, oh my, and there was a big time wreck in the back of the pack. And we have to go back and take a look at it. As cars were upside down. Timothy Lewis involved, Alex Straczynski, Steve Miller, Polacek. Couple big time cars involved in this one. As he burns it down, the 94 of Paul Fly. Wow, what a race, what a finish. Our closest finish of the season right there. The 94 of Paul Fly gets it done. We'll be right back here at Michigan International Speedway in just a few minutes.
My truck isn't something you want to see in your rearview mirror.
My truck is a 3,400-pound precision-guided sledgehammer.
I guess you could say my truck likes to take the path less traveled.
My truck never gets claustrophobic in tight spaces.
My truck doesn't haul tools, but hardware, that's a different story.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series. Tough trucks, tough racing.
Welcome back. It was exciting at the end of this one. Nick DeLucia was really pushing hard. He really wanted something here at the end of this, but he gets involved in an accident with Timothy Lewis. Here you can look at the replay here towards the end of this race. It was exciting. It was fun. It was everything that we really hoped for down to the end of the stretch of this one, and it did not disappoint. As you can see here, the 20 car of Nick DeLucia running inside the top 5. His luck ends here as he finishes 20th position after being inside the top 3 with just 2 laps to go. And here it is. Here was your final lap. White flag was out on the speedway. You got Timothy Lewis there on the outside, and you got Nick DeLucia right in front of him. Take a look there, right there. A little contact, just the slightest little bit of contact, and it did look like maybe a little bit of netcode. Boom! Big cars into the outside wall, car upside down. That was Brandon Surratt, and he is okay. We have gotten word from that, but look at a mayhem down the backstretch. Wow. It was fun. It was exciting. I had a blast. As Nick DeLucia has his worst outing of the race of the season, but Paul Fly gets the victory in victory lane. That was fun. That was exciting. I can't stop talking about it. Paul Fly wins by .006 seconds. You can't get any closer than that. As, again, I'll step away for one more time. Before we get our interviews of our top 3, I do want to get that, but we also want to look at, that finish there at the end of this race. We'll be right back. Just hold the dial.
In a world where being at your peak is everything, one gas station dares to fuel more than just your car. This summer, don't just fill your gas tank, fuel your peak potential.
Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
Download the Sunoco app today. Fuel up, save up, and fuel your best.
And there's your beautiful baby.
Any day now. Really? You're eating Doritos? He's eating Doritos on my ultrasound. Do you see what I have to do?
I know.
Give me that.
Kyle Wellman, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. Got you.
Wellman, you came up just short, unfortunately, but it was an exciting race. You rebound a little bit from what we talked about earlier. Come home in third. Have to be at least excited about that after the early incident. Overall, what'd you think?
Oh, not to toot my own horn, but I think I was the fastest one out here. Started 16th, got to the front real quick, led a bunch of laps. Incident happened. Same people every week for me. I was nice to them the first 4 races. I think I'm done doing that. Between getting wrecked every week, Bristol got turned under caution by the same guy. No apology for any of it. And then they come out here and turn me again into the wall. Yeah, not going to settle for it. And then come in there after the white flag, held my line on the bottom. I don't even know what number he is. I'll just say his name. Nick decided to try to get a run to the bottom and just wasn't clear. Hit my nose, spun himself, caused a big pile up. Whole team decided wanted to run their mouths to me afterwards instead of looking at the replay first. So I guess that's how it's going to go the rest of the season. We're just going to have to put it on the track and show them that just because I'm faster doesn't mean they got to wreck me.
Sometimes that happens in racing. The gloves, sometimes you have to throw them off and decide it on the track. That seems like that's the case for the 42 machine. Congratulations on the podium finish. We'll keep an eye on you next week.
Yep. My nickname is the Wild Man, and they're about to find out why. So thank you. Doing a great job up in the booth. Love going back and watching it. Got some friends that love watching it. You're doing a great job, and keep it up.
We appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was Kyle Wellman. We have to talk to Patrick Day. Has to be pretty excited about that one in that 24 machine. Patrick Day, you got a copy?
I do. Finally here for a good reason, Ryan.
He is. You are here for a very good reason. Excited, but it has to be a little shattering in its own self too, because you were that close at the line to get the win. 0.006. Paul Fly beat you there at the line. Overall, good day.
Yeah, definitely a good day. Just bided my time there at the beginning of the race and, fell back some. Started to pull the guys in, got up to, I think I was just touching the top 10 there when that first caution came out. So tire strategy was working, but I think I was a little too conservative there at the beginning. So I picked it up second half of the race and had to because of the way the cautions fell. But man, oh man, I apologize to Paul for getting into him on the start there. I spun my tires just a little bit. That was a heck of a race. I was surprised on, the first lap after that green flag there. When I went to 3, I pushed really bad, and Paul had a really good run on the bottom. I kind of was going to relegate myself to second place. I didn't think if he was going to stick to the bottom, I wasn't going to get him. But he surprised me in that last lap that he actually went higher in turn 3 and 4, and I was able to get a run low on him. I knew probably about 300 or 400 yards from the start-finish line that he was going to get me because the run that he had coming off the turn. But, man, what a race. That was so much fun.
Absolutely. It was a blast to call throughout much of that race. It was just great racing up front. Michigan did not disappoint. It was a lot of fun. And, yes, came down to just that much from getting your first victory on the season. But this is the Patrick Day that we're used to seeing. We have not seen it on the broadcast, but now we see you right here contending for the lead, and I imagine it will just snowball from here for the rest of the season. Congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Thanks for all the viewers for coming out, and thank you again for doing these broadcasts. It really brings a good flavor to these races.
Absolutely. Thank you. All right, we'll talk to your race winner. That was Paul Fly, and let's bring Paul Fly up into the booth. Paul Fly, do you got a copy?
Yeah, I gotcha.
He's in victory lane for the first time this season, the 94. Was able to beat Patrick Day at the line by 0.006, just by the nose of that truck. What was that like, battling him at the end of that race?
Oh, it was a blast. It was good, clean, hard racing. We were both, pushing each other down the straightaways, trying to figure out how to pass each other. But it's about freaking time I finally got a win back in this series. It's been a while, so feels good. And now you guys can put me back in your top 3 there because I noticed that I slipped out.
Absolutely. Maybe now you're that sleeper that Patrick Day was kind of talking about. Yes, you were very dominant throughout much of this race, stayed inside the top 5 always, and ran a really solid race. Was that your thought coming into this, is that you just needed to stay inside the top 5 in this race, and at the end you could potentially be there?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I honestly think I had the fastest car here. We won the race, so I think we were doing good. Sounds like my team's got a little bit of hashing out to do with the 42 because we don't agree with the way he races us, and he obviously doesn't agree with the way that we race him. So nothing wrong with that. We'll just clear the air and see what happens there. But yeah, no, it was a great run, and to stay in the top 5 the whole race was definitely key. To stay out of the mess from 7th to usually 15th is the key, and lately I've been getting myself back in that 7th to 10th range, and then I find myself in a bad situation, but today we were able to stay in the top 5 all day.
Yeah, and you talk about that, two teams, they race a little bit different, and you guys may have a different opinion of one team, and another person has a different view of another team, but, that's racing. We've seen that throughout the years of racing. We remember seeing Dale Earnhardt and how people portrayed Dale Earnhardt and other teams portrayed him. It's just part of racing, and eventually it just gets settled out on the track, and it seems like that's what the case is going to be, and it's going to be very interesting for our viewers and everyone watching how this plays out with your team and the 42 of Kyle Wellman, and how that feud kind of collaborates around the track, and we'll see how it works out. But getting onto this win, you got your first win. We've seen now 5 different winners in this series. That's incredible. That just shows you the talent that is here with the Tarmac Esports Truck Series. What's it going to take to get back on victory lane again, as it seems to be a hard thing to do once you've already got that first one?
Well, hopefully we're not waiting too long. I know the next 2 tracks, Vegas and Richmond, are some of my better tracks, but I also know that Nick and Timmy are also very good there, and Trevor's always going to be fast, same with Johnny and Ryan too. So we'll see what happens. We're going to need some luck, obviously, especially at the short tracks. The 1.5 miles at Vegas, I think we'll be okay. Just got to save a little bit of tire there, but I think we'll be pretty good the rest of the season.
Well, it was fun calling the race. It was great to see another winner in victory lane. The 94 gets it in victory lane. Congratulations, Paul Fly, on the win. And we imagine that we'll see that momentum continue on for the next couple of weeks. Congratulations.
That's what we're hoping for, and appreciate you doing the broadcast. It's a lot of fun to go back and watch. I know Kyle said it too, so I do go back and watch it. I watch the pre-race stuff. It's a blast. So thanks for taking the time out of your day to also do that.
We do appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks for putting on a great show.
We'll see you next week.
And that was Paul Fly, and wow, he was flying out there, that's for sure. In the 94 machine, he gets the win. You can see it. I left it on the screen. That's a great photo finish there at the end of this race. It was fun. It was exciting. We've got another race coming up next week here at, where are we at next week? There we go. We got Homestead coming up. That's our next race. So Michigan belongs to Paul Fly, and there you can see it. We've had 5 different winners now through 5 rounds of racing. We imagine will we see a 6th different winner at Homestead, as it's maybe a little bit different track than some of the other ones that we've went to. It will be interesting to see. Thank you all for tuning in to the Tarmac Esports show. We hope that you guys had a blast watching the show with us. And thank you for being a supporter. And if you haven't hit the subscribe button, please do so. That greatly helps us out throughout the year, and we are almost to the halfway mark, and it's getting exciting, and feuds are already starting to begin. We'll see you next week.